Have you ever been forced to be with 12 men on your wedding night? No. But 18-year-old Astrid had no choice, because she was a Viking girl, and the Vikings had a tradition. They called it the fertility ritual. On the first night, the bride would be offered to her husband's warriors. Why? To gain the god's favor, to ensure strong children, and no one could say no, because saying no meant death. That night, Astrid died 12 times, but she woke up in the morning, and that morning she understood. Viking weddings weren't a beginning, they were an end. In 1923, an excavation of a Viking burial site was underway in the Trondheim region of Norway. Archaeologist Dr. Christian Berg and his team were expecting a routine dig, but what they found horrified them: a skeleton belonging to a young woman, approximately 18 to 20 years old. An inscription carved into the grave wall, in Old Norse, Astrid, bride of Jarl Erik. She died on the first night but continued to breathe. Dr. Berg described that moment. This wasn't just a grave inscription, it was an accusation, and it was being heard 1,000 years later. Next to the skeleton, another small runestone was found, carved in feminine handwriting. Difficult to read, but the translation was shocking. My name is Astrid. If you are reading this stone, know that Viking weddings are not celebrations. For the bride, they are nightmares. They told me for fertility. They told me for the gods. But the truth is, 12 men destroyed a young girl, and everyone applauded, because that was the tradition. Modern archaeological examinations found trauma marks on the skeleton, broken ribs, cracks in the skull, and the most shocking finding, DNA from 11 different men was detected on the bones, all from the same night. Before we continue with this shocking, dark secret of history, if you enjoy learning about the hidden faces of history, don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment about our content. After liking, you can support this video by touching the like button right below the screen, helping our story reach more people. Now let's return to this horrific tale from Viking Norway, because I haven't even started the tragic part yet. Year 952 AD, the northern coasts of Norway. Viking society at its peak, but not like Hollywood movies show, much darker, much more ruthless. In Viking society, women were considered property. Yes, there were women who could fight, but these were exceptions. Most women were their father's property, then their husband's. And weddings? Weddings were agreements between two families. The girl was never asked, never. The tradition called the fertility ritual actually dated back very far. According to Viking belief, for a marriage to be fertile, the blessing of the goddess Freya was needed, and the way to gain this blessing was to share the bride with the community's strong warriors. Thus, the children born would be considered children of the entire clan, not just the husband. But in reality, this was just an excuse for men to display power. Jarls, the local leaders, would use this ritual to test loyalty. Warriors used it to abuse young girls, and no one could say no, because families who said no would have their homes burned, their men killed, their women enslaved. Astrid was born in a small village on the fjord coast. Her father was a fisherman, her mother a weaver, a poor but happy family. Astrid had long blonde hair, blue eyes. By age 18, she was the most beautiful girl in the village, and this beauty would destroy her. Jarl Erik was the most powerful leader in the region, 50 years old, had 3 wives, 12 children, but he still wanted more. One day he came to the village. He saw Astrid. He stopped. Astrid remembered that moment. The look I saw in his eyes wasn't a man's look, it was a predator's look, and I was prey. Jarl Erik went to Astrid's father. "You will give your daughter to my son. The wedding is in 1 week. Her father was shocked. "But Jarl, sir, Astrid is still young. She's not ready." "Whether she's ready or not doesn't concern me. I want a bride for my son Ragnar, and I've chosen Astrid. Wedding in 1 week, no discussion. What could her father do? He couldn't say no, because saying no would destroy the family. That evening, when he came home, he told Astrid, "In 1 week, you'll marry Ragnar." Astrid was shocked. "But father, I don't love Ragnar. I don't even know him." Her mother was crying. "Astrid, we have no choice. The Jarl has ordered it, but I don't want to." Her father looked sternly. "What you want doesn't matter. You will do it. And you're lucky. You're marrying the Jarl's son. Everyone in the village will envy you." But her mother knew there was nothing to envy, because her mother had once attended a Jarl wedding, another bride's, and she could never forget what she saw that night. For 1 week, Astrid was prepared. The village women sewed her traditional bridal dress, white linen with red embroidery. Her hair was braided, decorated with flowers. Everyone seemed happy. "How lucky you are, Astrid. You'll be the Jarl's bride. Now you'll be rich." But Astrid wasn't happy. There was a fear inside her, a reasonless fear, as if her body was trying to tell her something. The night before the wedding, her mother came to her. She sat down, remained silent for a long time, then began to cry. "Mother, why are you crying?" Her mother took Astrid's hand. "Astrid, I need to tell you something. But if I tell you, it might be worse. If I don't tell you, I can't forgive myself." "What will you tell me, mother?" "You're scaring me." Her mother took a deep breath. "On the wedding night, you won't be alone with Ragnar." Astrid was confused. "What do you mean?" "There's something called the fertility ritual, the Jarl's warriors. They'll come too." "They'll come? Where?" Her mother continued, crying. "To the room." "Your room. And they'll demand from you for fertility. That's the tradition." Astrid's world went dark. "What demand? I don't understand." "Astrid, you're grown now. You understand. They'll be with you, one by one." Astrid jumped up. No, this can't be. This is barbaric." "Lower your voice. The neighbors will hear." "Yes, it's barbaric, but it's tradition. It's done at every Jarl wedding. I saw it too. A girl your age, 12 men, until morning." Astrid felt like vomiting. "Mother, let's run away." "Please." "Where will we run, Astrid?" "To the other side of the fjord." "They'll find us. They'll kill your father, make me a slave, find you and bring you back. And then they'll do worse. Then I'll die, but I won't do this." Her mother shook Astrid. "You will do it. Listen to me. You will do it. Because you need to survive. You'll endure. You'll grit your teeth and you'll wait until morning. If you're still breathing when morning comes, it means you've won. Understand? Have you ever imagined your mother telling you something like this? That survival is the most important thing. That honor doesn't matter?" Astrid didn't sleep that night. She just lay in bed and stared at the ceiling and thought, "After this time tomorrow, I won't be the same Astrid anymore." Morning came. Astrid couldn't get up. Her mother forced her up. "You must get up. The Jarl's men are on their way." They washed Astrid, dressed her, decorated her. When she looked in the mirror, she didn't recognize herself. She looked like a beautiful bride, but in her eyes was fear, too much fear. At noon, the Jarl's men came. They would take Astrid. Her father was crying but trying to hide it. Her mother hugged her tightly, whispered in her ear, "Endure, my daughter. Just endure." Astrid was put on a horse. 3 hours' journey along the fjord. When they arrived at the Jarl's great hall, the sun was setting. The hall was enormous, could hold 100 people, long tables in the center, torches on the sides, weapons and shields hung on the walls, and in the very center on the throne sat Jarl Erik. When Astrid entered, everyone turned to look. 100 pairs of eyes, mostly men, all drunk, all smiling. Jarl stood up. "Welcome, Astrid. Today is the big day. You're marrying my son, Ragnar." Ragnar stood beside him, 25 years old, tall, bearded, could even be called handsome. But when he looked at Astrid, there was nothing in his eyes. No love, no interest, just emptiness. The wedding ceremony began. A priest, Godi, came, said prayers to Odin, to Freya, bound Ragnar and Astrid's hands together. You are now one body, one blood. May the gods bless you. Everyone applauded. Songs were sung, mead was drunk. Astrid drank nothing, just sat and waited. She knew something terrible was coming. The feast lasted for hours. Pork, fish, bread, mead, beer. Everyone eating, drinking, laughing. Astrid ate nothing. Her stomach was churning. Ragnar sat beside her but didn't speak to her, just drank, talked with his friends, treated Astrid as if she didn't exist. At one point, Jarl Erik stood up. Silence fell over the hall. Today my son Ragnar married, and today, according to Viking tradition, the fertility ritual will be performed. The warriors shouted, applauded. The women looked on silently, some with pitying eyes at Astrid. The Jarl continued. Ragnar, you have 12 loyal warriors. Tonight they too will fertilize the bride. May the goddess Freya accept. May Freya accept, they all shouted in unison. Astrid's heart was pounding wildly. This can't be real, this can't be real. Ragnar turned to Astrid. He smiled, but that smile wasn't genuine, just a formality. Don't be afraid. The pain passes quickly. Ragnar, please don't do this. I only want to be with you. Silence, this is tradition. My father, the Jarl, has ordered it, and I am the Jarl's son. I follow our traditions. Astrid began to cry. Please, no. But no one heard. The music was too loud. At midnight, Jarl stood up again. The time has come. Bride and groom to the bedchamber. Astrid couldn't stand up. Her legs were shaking. 2 women came, grabbed her arms, forced her up. Walk, girl. Don't resist. It'll be worse. Astrid walked. Long corridor, torches burning on the walls. Behind her, Ragnar, and behind him, 12 warriors, all drunk, all laughing. When they reached the bedchamber, Astrid entered. The room was large, a large bed in the center, torches around, moonlight streaming through the window. Ragnar entered. Behind him, 12 warriors. They closed and locked the door. Astrid backed into a corner. Please, don't do this. Ragnar approached. Astrid, this is inevitable. The more you resist, the more you'll suffer. Make it easier. No, don't touch me. Ragnar turned to the warriors. Hold her. 2 warriors grabbed Astrid, held her by the arms. Astrid screamed, but outside the music was so loud no one heard. Ragnar tore Astrid's bridal dress. Astrid tried to cover herself, but the hands were too strong. Ragnar, you're my husband. Why are you allowing this? Ragnar stopped, looked at Astrid. For a moment she saw pity in his eyes, but then it disappeared. Because I am the Jarl's son, and the Jarl's son cannot break tradition. Then he was with Astrid, fast, mercilessly. Astrid cried but couldn't make a sound. Her throat was locked. When Ragnar finished, he got up, turned to the warriors. The first is done. Your turn. The first warrior approached. Bjorn, 40 years old, a huge man. He looked at Astrid and smiled. You're beautiful, bride. I'm lucky. Astrid said, please no, but Bjorn didn't listen. And it began. The next hours were a blur for Astrid. One warrior would finish, another would come. Each one different. Some fast, some slow, some talking, some silent. Astrid wasn't crying anymore, because her tears had run out. She just stared at the ceiling, at the moonlight, and thought, I'm not here anymore. My body is here, but I'm not. In modern terms, we call this dissociation. When trauma is too great, the brain shuts down to protect itself, stops feeling. Astrid was experiencing exactly this. When the 5th warrior came, Astrid wasn't moving at all, just lying there, eyes open but seeing nothing. The warrior said, this one's like a corpse. Another warrior laughed, not dead, just broken. Continue. Have you ever felt so helpless that your body shuts down? Your brain says I can't live through this? Astrid experienced that feeling 12 times that night. The 10th warrior was especially brutal. Leif, young, maybe 22, but very drunk and aggressive. He hit Astrid. Come on, react, do something. But Astrid did nothing, couldn't. Leif hit harder. Astrid's lips split. Blood flowed. Ragnar said, enough, Leif. Don't kill her. She won't die. Just hurt a little. And Leif was the most merciless, lasted the longest, hurt the most. When he finished, Astrid's body hurt everywhere. Her eyebrow was split, lips swollen, ribs broken. When the last 2 warriors came, Astrid's consciousness was completely shut off. She didn't know what was happening, just felt pain, endless pain. When morning came, sunlight streamed through the window. Astrid opened her eyes. Everything hurt. She couldn't move. She looked around. The room was empty. Everyone had left. She was alone. She tried to get up, but fell. Her legs wouldn't hold her. There was blood. Too much blood. She slowly crawled to the window, looked outside. A beautiful morning. Birds were singing. The sun was shining. But for Astrid, nothing was beautiful anymore. I died, she thought. This body is still breathing, but I died. The door opened. An old woman entered, a servant. She had water and cloth in her hands. Oh, poor girl, same every time. Come, let me clean you. Every time? Astrid whispered. Yes, at every Jarl wedding, always the same. They all suffer like this, but then you get used to it. Get used to it? How do you get used to this? The old woman smiled bitterly. You don't. You just stop feeling. The woman cleaned Astrid, bandaged her wounds, then brought a new dress. Wear this. The Jarl wants to see you. Number. I can't go. You will go, because if you don't, it'll be worse. Astrid dressed, walked in pain. When she came to the great hall, Jarl Erik was there. Ragnar too. The Jarl smiled. Ah, Astrid, how are you? How could I be? Astrid whispered. You should be well, because now you're Ragnar's wife, and next month maybe you'll be pregnant. A strong child will bring honor to our clan. Astrid looked at Ragnar. Ragnar averted his gaze, maybe ashamed, or just didn't care. Ragnar, Astrid said, you're my husband. Why didn't you protect me? Ragnar didn't answer. The Jarl answered, because tradition isn't about protection. It's about loyalty. You're now part of this clan, and you'll follow the clan's traditions. From that day on, Astrid lived in Ragnar's house. But this wasn't marriage. It was captivity. Ragnar rarely touched her, as if she no longer interested him. Only late at night, when very drunk, would he come. And each time he came, Astrid would sink into the same darkness. But one day, everything changed. 3 months later, Astrid still wasn't pregnant. The Jarl began to get angry. Ragnar, your wife still isn't pregnant. What good is she? I don't know, father. Maybe she's barren. Barren? Maybe you're inadequate. Ragnar felt ashamed. He began treating Astrid more harshly, as if it were Astrid's fault. But Astrid was secretly taking precautions. She had herbs brought from the village, plants that prevent pregnancy, because Astrid knew if she got pregnant she could never escape, and she was making escape plans. One day at the market she met another woman, Sigrid, 30 years old. She too had once been a bride at a Jarl wedding. You too? Asked Sigrid. Astrid nodded. I know how you felt that night. I lived it too, 10 years ago. How do you endure? I don't endure. I'm just alive, but I'm not living. The two women talked quietly, and Sigrid said something. You can escape. How? There's a monastery to the south, Christian nuns. They accept women, protect them. Vikings can't touch them. Sacred ground. Astrid's eyes lit up. Hope for the first time. But how do I get there? The fjord is so far. In 3 weeks, boats will come. Trading boats. I made an arrangement with one. He can take you. But it takes courage, Astrid thought. What if she got caught? The Jarl would kill her, or worse, do the ritual again, more brutal. But what if she stayed here? She'd die a little more each day. "I'll do it," Astrid said. "I'll escape." For 3 weeks Astrid prepared, hid food, concealed old clothes, and waited. Finally, the day came. Trading boats docked at the port. Sigrid sent word. "Tonight, midnight, be at the port." That evening Astrid ate dinner with Ragnar, the last dinner. Ragnar noticed nothing. He rarely looked at her anyway. At midnight, Astrid got out of bed. Ragnar was sleeping, snoring. Astrid dressed quietly, left through the door. She ran through the dark streets, her heart pounding wildly. What if I get caught? She reached the port. Sigrid was there, and a boat. The captain was an old man. "Hurry, girl. We need to leave before dawn." Astrid jumped onto the boat. Sigrid squeezed her hand. "Go, be free, and never look back." The boat moved. Astrid looked back. She could see the lights of the Jarl's hall. She had lived there for 3 months, 3 months of hell. But now she was free. The boat traveled along the fjord. When morning came, Astrid saw the Norwegian coasts for the last time, and shed tears, but this time not from sadness, from relief. After a 2-week journey, the boat reached the southern coasts. The captain took Astrid to the monastery. The monastery was surrounded by stone walls. A nun met them at the gate. "Who is this child?" The captain said. "She's fleeing from Viking lands. She needs protection." The nun looked at Astrid, saw pity in her eyes. "Come in, child. You're safe here." Astrid entered the monastery. For the first time in 3 months, she felt safe. The nuns gave her a room, food, clean clothes, and most importantly, no one touched her. No one harmed her. The first week, Astrid didn't speak at all, just sat in her room and looked outside. Her traumas were too deep. At night, she had nightmares. The faces of 12 warriors, hands, pain. But Sister Ingrid came to her, an old, wise woman. "Child, I know what you've been through, because I lived it too. Years ago, I too was a Viking bride. I too escaped." Astrid was shocked. "You too?" "Yes, and what I'll tell you is this. Your pain will never go away, but in time, you'll learn to carry it. In time, you'll learn to live." The 2 women talked for hours, and for the first time, Astrid felt understood. Months passed. Astrid stayed at the monastery, learned to pray, learned to read, learned to write, and one day she decided she would write her story, because people needed to know what happened at Viking weddings, the true face of the fertility ritual. She carved into a stone surface with rune letters, her story, her pain, her fear. "My name is Astrid. If you are reading this stone, know that Viking weddings are not celebrations. For the bride, they are nightmares." 2 months after Astrid's escape, Ragnar began searching for her, but couldn't find her. No one knew where she was. Jarl Erik was furious. "My son can't even protect his wife." Shame. Ragnar felt ashamed, but actually he was relieved. When he looked at Astrid, he always felt guilty. What he did that night, what he allowed. A year later, Ragnar married again. Another girl, another fertility ritual. But this time the girl couldn't endure until morning. She died from bleeding. And that night, Ragnar understood. Tradition was just an excuse. In reality, it was barbarism, murder. But it was too late. He couldn't change it now. Years later, Ragnar aged, had no children, ever. Maybe it was a curse. Maybe the gods were punishing him. On his deathbed, his last words were, "Tell Astrid, I'm sorry. I wish I could have protected her." But Astrid never heard this, because she was in a different life now. Astrid lived at the monastery for 10 years. Then she made a decision. She wouldn't just hide, she would help. She left the monastery, settled in a small village, became a midwife there, helped with births, healed sick women, and most importantly, helped women escaping from Viking lands. showed them the way, got them to safety. At 30, she met a man, Harold, widowed, a kind man. He approached Astrid slowly, was patient. Astrid, I know you went through bad things in the past. I'm not rushing, but I want to be with you, just to be by your side. At first, Astrid was afraid. I'm broken. I can never be whole again. Harold smiled. You're not broken, you're wounded, and wounds heal. 2 years later, they married. A small ceremony, just friends. No ritual, no warriors, just two people and love. For the first time, Astrid was happy, truly happy, and she understood. Life hadn't ended. It had just begun again. The grave found in 1923 wasn't actually Astrid's. It was another bride's grave. She had died on the wedding night, but the stone Astrid carved had been placed next to hers. Perhaps a memorial, perhaps a warning. This woman died in the fertility ritual. Her name is unknown, but her pain must not be forgotten. Modern archaeology shows that the fertility ritual was real, not just a legend. It was regularly practiced in Norway between 900 and 1100 AD. Hundreds of women suffered in this ritual. Some died, some escaped, some survived but never healed. Today, marital rape, forced marriage, abuse under the name of tradition still continues. Worldwide, 650 million women were married before age 18, many, like Astrid, by force. Astrid's story shows that traditions are not always right. The excuse, "this is how it was done," is unacceptable. Women's bodies are never ritual material. Escape is possible, healing is possible, being happy again is possible. If you or someone you know is experiencing forced marriage or marital abuse, seek help. Don't stay silent. Because Astrid's story shows that even the darkest nights have dawns. And sometimes escape isn't just an option, it's the only way to survive. If you want to tell your story too, you can share it in the comments. Supporting each other is the first step to not repeating history's mistakes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because every week we're uncovering the hidden faces of history. And remember, the past doesn't change, but the future does. It's in your hands.